Hi guys, and welcome to my channel, Changing Phases Tarot. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. Now, today's reading, we'll be doing the February monthly reading. So the general reading for the month of February 2018 for all of the signs. For the main reading, which will be a 10-card Celtic cross spread, I will use the Crystal Visions Tarot deck. And I will pull two additional cards, oracle cards, just to enhance our reading. One will be from the Soulful Woman oracle card deck, and the other one is from the Ask Your Guides oracle card deck. Okay, as a reminder, please, in addition to watching your sun sign video, take a look at your moon sign and your rising sign video. That way, you'll have a really, a more or broader overview of what is in store for you during the month. Sometimes the messages in one will resonate more than the other. So, and obviously, as I always say, these are general readings, so please do keep that in mind. The messages may or may not resonate. The only way for you to get a truly personalized reading focusing on you and what is going on in your life right now would be to get a private reading from me. And if you're interested, you can do that by checking out my website, changingphasestarot.weebly.com. There you'll find all of the services I offer as well as pricing, or you could send me an email at changingphasestarot@gmail.com. All right, so I think that's it for the introduction. I will stop for now and see you in 1 second for your readings. Hi Pisces, I'm here to get into your February 2018 reading. As you can see, I've already laid out the spread. I've shuffled off camera and have just been doing this really to save some time. Okay, so the card that was at the bottom of the deck, the overall energy for the month of February 2018, you have Six of Swords. Okay. At the center of your reading, you have Major Arcana number 7, the Hangman, crossed by Major Arcana number 3, the Empress. The foundation for your reading is the Nine of Pentacles. In the past position, we have the Three of Pentacles. Crowning your reading, you have the Two of Pentacles. And coming up in the future position, you have the Six of Wands. You in the reading appear as the Ace of Swords. Surrounding you in your environment, you have the King of Cups. Your hopes and fears, the Two of Wands. And the outbound energy for the month of February, the Knight of Wands. Okay? And the two cards that you have from the Oracle card deck, from the Ask Your Guide deck, you have Compromise, Master Teacher. And from the Soulful Woman deck, you have card number 10, Anger as My Sacred Ally. I listen to the messages within my anger and use it as a positive force for good. Okay, so we'll see how all of this kind of ties together as we work through the reading, but beginning with the overall energy for the month. So the Six of Swords card. This is, well, first of all, the Suit of Swords has to do with mental energy. It's the, cerebral energy. It has to do with our intellect, our mind, our thoughts. It has to do with how we communicate with other people. It also has to do with how we resolve situations with other people, by using our intellect, by using by communicating, with the other people. The Six of Swords itself is a card, we typically think of it as a card of transition, right? It indicates a period of transition. It's sort of moving away from something in your past that no longer serves you anymore, and so you're leaving that behind. It might be a little difficult to do so, right? There's certainly some sadness as you leave this behind, but you're also thinking about and sort of anticipating this forward journey, what lies ahead. And we can see here on the card that she, her dress, it looks like it might be wet from the snow. This is difficult. There's all this darkness around her, and the ravens and the swords. But she's just kind of, she's leaving these swords behind, and she's heading towards the light, right? In the hopes that where she's heading, it will be better, and there'll be better things for her there. In the traditional tarot, this card, it shows, this a woman in a boat, and she's sort of sailing away from choppy waters into smoother, calmer waters. So this could be, for some of you watching the video, this could be you, moving out of a kind of rocky or turbulent period in your life and moving into a calmer, a better, more stable time. So we'll see how that, again, how it ties in with everything once we get into the rest of the cards. At the center of your reading, you have the Hangman card. So you have two major arcana cards in the middle of the reading, and these are the only major arcanas in the reading. So we have the Hangman crossed by the Empress. Well, usually the Hangman, it speaks of a period of waiting, right? There might be a delay with something, possibly with this, moving ahead and leaving things behind. There might be some type of delay there. And you can see that the Hangman, he's really put himself in this position, in the situation. Yes, he is hanging upside down, and he's tied up, but he could easily wiggle his feet and sort of wiggle to get out of that. He really isn't stuck there. He could get out if he wanted to, but he doesn't, right? Because if you see around his head, with him being in this upside down position, what he's gaining here is this enlightenment. You see the light shining around his head at the bottom. If he were in the upright position, he certainly would not, be or see things in the same way that he's seeing them by hanging upside down there, right? So he does speak of seeing things from from a different perspective, needing to see things from a new perspective. It could have to do with, leaving behind an old way of thinking, and sort of surrendering, to this period of waiting, in order to, or gain a new perspective, in order to have continued, growth, continued spiritual growth, in order to, to have this new outlook on life, because that's needed for whatever you're heading into now. And he is crossed by the Empress card. And the Empress card it's a card, it's very expansive energy, right? The threes usually have to do with, and we have a Three of Pentacles sitting next to it, actually. It's a card that speaks of abundance, right? she's actually pregnant on the card, and so she's this typical Earth Mother, this archetype of this, she's a very loving, she's a very caring individual. She's, she kind of represents this world, right? The earthly things, the very grounded energy as well. And she's, she's standing in this lush garden. We have butterflies flying around her, so symbolizing, new rebirth. We have, like I mentioned, she is pregnant here on the card. So for some of you watching this, there might be a pregnancy. There might be, you might be, waiting to find out about a pregnancy, waiting to hear about that. And for others, this is just sort of expansive energy, right? This could be you, it does have to do with as well sort of giving birth, right? But it could be giving birth to new ideas, giving birth to new projects, new creative projects, right? And with this Hangman, you might be told to see things from a different point of view. It has to do with, with the Six of Swords, leaving choppy waters, moving into calmer waters. There might be some type of change of perspective needed, in order to, as you move through this transition period. But it's very, like I said, expansive, very, very fruitful, very, it's very positive energy with this Empress, right? But there might be some type of delay involved with this hangman at the center. And what you have at the foundation is this Nine of Pentacles, which is earth energy. And earth energy has to do with, it has to do with the material realm, right? And you actually have 3 earth cards here in a row. So we have the Nine of Pentacles at the foundation, 3 of Pentacles in the past, and 2 of Pentacles in the crowning position. So earth energy, it's everything that we can touch and feel here in the material realm. So we usually associate it with, material possessions, the work that we do, the money that we earn from the work that we do, the material things that we are able to obtain with that money. So, our homes, it has to do with our families, it has to do with education. And the Nine of Pentacles is a very self-sufficient, very, again, abundant kind of energy, right? You can see that the woman, she's looking very secure. She's looking very happy here in this beautiful garden setting. She has everything, she kind of has the life that she's envisioned for herself. She has this beautiful tiger next to her, a peacock, again, very lush. We see just like, similar to the lush image here of the Empress with, all of the trees laden with fruit, and then the wheat behind her. This woman here on the Nine of Pentacles card, she also is in this beautiful garden that has, she has all more than enough pentacles and more than enough, financially. It's great financial stability, security. So she's feeling very good, very happy with herself. In the past position, there's the Three of Pentacles. So again, earth energy. Usually when the Three of Pentacles appears, it has to do with meeting or reaching, a particular milestone, but still, needing to keep going, still needing to work. It also has to do with, so reaching like a short-term goal, but still needing to keep your eye on like the bigger picture, on, the big goal, that whatever that might be, and just understand that continuing to work with more hard work, possibly partnering up with other people, because sometimes when the Three of Pentacles, or when there's threes, it can have to do with some type of partnership, right? Working with other people in order to achieve your goal or your dream, sticking to a plan, working with others, right? Negotiating with other people as well, right? Which is interesting because we also have, I know we haven't gotten to it yet, but with this compromise card here as the oracle card, there might be some type of negotiation, right? And we have we also have the Ace of Swords as you here. So there might be some type of negotiation required, or working with people. This does appear in the past. So this could be, this has already happened. It could have been in the month of January, even going back to the end of the year. Maybe you partnered up with, somebody, or maybe you reach some certain goal, and you've been working very hard, which is also here with the crowning card, the Two of Pentacles, because the Two of Pentacles speaks of balance, right? It speaks of juggling. This can literally be like juggling finances in order to make ends meet. This can be juggling different areas of your life, your career, with your family life, or your school life with your work life. It's just that juggling, but being able to keep everything, like keep all of the balls up in the air, keep everything going. You see the woman, she's wearing like these point shoes. She's balancing on them, which isn't easy to do anyway, but she's still able to, to balance the pentacles, to balance the coins on her arm. So, again, this card also has to do with going with the flow, like being able to adapt quickly to whatever life throws at you. It might have to do with, going back to the Hangman card, seeing things from a different perspective, especially if this is working with other people, being more, changing your way of viewing a certain situation, or being, kind of rolling with the punches kind of thing, going with whatever happens, adapting quickly, that as well. And whatever it is, in the future, you have this Six of Wands card, which is a victory card. The Suit of Wands it's fire energy, and usually we associate it with our day-to-day activities, such as the work that we do. It could be creative projects, creative, endeavors, business, like partnering up with other people again, like I was saying with the Three of Pentacles. It's usually like the day-to-day things that we do. It's also our ambition and our drive and our courage and determination to do those things, right? It's also the Six of Wands in particular is a card that it speaks of recognition, it speaks of accolades and receiving accolades. So if this is in the work environment, we usually think of it as, receiving some type of award or recognition. Maybe you received like some type of promotion, or maybe you were, in a staff meeting, they pointed out or called out your name, or you received some type of recognition, that type of thing. But it's a very positive card. It just shows that you really, you're very courageous, you have great insight, and you're really kind of feeling like you're at the top of your game here. You appear here as the Ace of Swords, which, aces, so you have the victory card here with the Six of Wands. Aces are usually yes cards, right? It's sort of divine energy. It's usually like a divine gift given to you, right? With that hand extending out of the cloud, like the universe extending this divine offer to you. And again, we have Suit of Swords. We have the Six of Swords as the overall energy. Here we have more Swords energy, so more cerebral energy to do with our mind, right? Our thoughts, how we communicate. And it's a card that speaks of great clarity, right? The Ace of Swords is all about receiving some type of clarity on something, right? Finding something out, right? Having great, or like seeing things for really what they are, So if this is in a situation, for example, this could be you resolving a situation. If there was some type of discussion or negotiation or something that needed to be resolved, this could be you just, using your communication and possibly by seeing things from a different perspective or point of view and negotiating with others and compromising, that you were able to resolve a situation. It is definitely a victory card. It's also a card that speaks of new beginnings, new points of view, inspiration, which really ties in with this Hangman card as well over here of seeing things from a different perspective. How others are viewing you as the King of Cups, and you are obviously water energy, Cancer. So, this could be just the energy that you're taking on, and people are just sort of seeing you as this King of Cups. Cups energy is water energy, has to do with our feelings, our emotions, also has to do with intuition. Kings and Queens are, when the court cards appear in a reading, because we have the King of Cups here, and then we have the Knight of Wands is the outbound energy. When we have a court card, it can be an actual person that we're dealing with who might be quite significant during the month of February. If so, this would typically be an older male sign water individual, so Cancer like yourself, or Pisces or Scorpio. Obviously, in the general readings, it might not be gender specific, so it could be male or female, but it's usually an older individual, because the King and Queen in the tarot, they have lived long enough to master that particular suit. So the King of Cups, he's a very fair individual. He's a very honest individual as well. He's somebody who, yes, he does like to use his heart to resolve situations, but he's also he's fair in the way that he deals with people, and so he's a very honest and kind man. He keeps his emotions pretty balanced, even though he is the king of the Suit of Cups, he does manage to keep his emotions kind of under control. He's, sometimes when he appears in a reading, he can be, this can be a person, right? This could be an actual, like I said, a male water sign. But this is how people are seeing you. So maybe people are just, just viewing you as being very, very fair, as you're being just, being sort of this, kind of diplomatic person. Or maybe this has to do with the way that you have resolved the situation, or how you've used your intellect, or how you were willing and able to compromise with somebody else. So they're viewing you as a very, being very honest and open, but also being very fair and just and balanced. Your hopes and fears, you have the Two of Wands. So you're hoping for, right? I think this is more of a hope than a fear here. More Wands energy, but you're hoping for this, this new path. This Two of Wands, usually it can speak of collaborating with other people again. And that came up over here with the Three of Pentacles. So there very well might be some issue or something going on, some type of situation with you, maybe you partnered up with somebody, or, partnering up, or maybe you partnered up in the past, and, you're still looking, or you're seeing where things are going to go. Maybe you haven't been seeing eye to eye, right? Maybe this is what's needed here. Possibly the Six of Swords over, that's the overall energy. Possibly that, this leaving behind the turbulent waters, it has to do with you, you having this new outlook, and you being willing to work with the other person, because the Two of Wands is a card that usually speaks of, like, you are being the kind of the risk taker or the trailblazer. You see the two paths, you're picking one of them, and you're being very strong, taking things into your own hands, and going after it. And again, with the Suit of Wands, this can be in the area of career. It can be in the area of some type of partnership, partnering with others, creative endeavors, right? And so you're just hoping that you're going to be, you're going to take things into take control of the situation, and pick the right path and go for it, really. And what you have, is the outbound energy, and I feel this is you here, right, taking on the energy of this Knight of Wands. It could be another person that you're dealing with. Like I was just saying here with the King of Cups, this could be a kind of a middle-aged male or female individual, fire sign. So if it is, it would be a Leo or Sagittarius or Aries. So it could be. This could be the person that you've partnered up with. That might be that person that, towards the end of February, they might be quite significant. If not, then this is just you feeling, very fired up, and sort of after you've taken things into your own hands, just ready to go. Because usually Knights in the tarot, they're the ones who act on things, right? They come in to really sort of, go with whatever the page is brought in, whatever news, and then they come in to act on it. And again, he's out of all the Knights, he's, like the fastest moving. He's very fiery. He's very passionate, very full of energy. He's very quick. He's very quick to act, right? Which is very different than this, hangman energy. Although I do get that this is more than a delay. This is, after seeing how it ties in with the other cards, I feel that it has more to do with seeing things from a new perspective. Again, this Empress could be the giving birth to this new project, especially with all the other cards that I've just, mentioned, that seem to speak of the partnering up with somebody else, and needing to, be open and see things from a different perspective, and negotiate and compromise. So, but this is you just, kind of charging into the month of March, and feeling as though, you now have the clarity, and you've taken control of the situation, and you're just kind of running with it. Now, the two cards that came out here, I like to read from the guidebook, right? Just to give you the full description of each card. So the Compromise card from the Ask Your Guides deck. This card says, and this is card number 49, it says, your master teacher is reminding you that nothing is entirely good or bad, even people, and that every person has their own version of reality, which may not necessarily agree with yours. Instead of arguing with or feeling wronged by those who refuse to submit to your point of view, give up your righteous and rigid demands and broaden your perspective to include the interests of those you struggle with now. Mentally move towards center and open your mind to look at the situation from their point of view. Although it's easy to feel indignant and defensive as you deal with this current impasse, the truth is that no one's trying to harm you. Instead, your detractors are simply supporting their own interests and priorities, which are different from yours. Rather than reacting emotionally to their resistance, strive to understand them. Be mindful not to be overly self-centered, however justified it may feel. Strive to be fair instead. Your master's teaching message. Your master teacher's message. Accept that your interests are no more or no less important than those of people around you. So the only way to progress to higher ground is to compromise. And this really does tie in with all of the messages, especially with being fair and needing to see things from their point of view. It really ties in very nicely with the rest of them, the cards in your reading. Okay, and the other card is card number 10 from the Soulful Woman deck, and this card says, I respect my anger as an expression of my passion for life, as a setter of boundaries, and as a protective force within me. When I use my anger wisely, it is a great ally to me, a sacred gift of power. I harness the gift of my anger to liberate myself, awaken myself from self-deception, and show me where I have lacked courage. I listen to my anger and learn to transform it into a positive force for good. I use my anger as a healing flame to burn off that which no longer serves me, never as a destructive fire to harm myself or others. So I think, I feel that this ties in more than with the Six of Swords. And, instead of using your anger against others, it's more about, harnessing that anger, that energy. And, in this case, walk away. If it no longer serves you, just harness it in another manner, and walk away from it, because everything else is showing here that you are handling everything the way that you need to handle it. And you have very positive cards coming out here as far as the Six of Wands, the Ace of Swords. You're taking control of things. I think that it's just more about, instead of getting angry, learn to compromise, try to see things from the other person's perspective. I think that this compromise, it really does, that's kind of the main message that I'm getting, tied in with the other cards from this reading. So I do hope that the messages have helped you in some way. I thank you for joining me here. I look forward to reading for you again. And I'm sending you all much peace, love, and light for a wonderful rest of the month. Bye for now.